Hey guys, the WalterFootball.com After Dark show for April 26th, 2025. We're going to be doing the 2025 NFL draft grades tonight for all the picks in the first round. The first round was just completed about an hour ago. So we're going to get into this. And, it's not going to be a super long episode because I have to do the round 2 and round 3 regrades or remocks. Sorry. I have to do trade grades for the 3 trades that happened in this draft, and then some write-ups for tomorrow. But yeah, we're going to get into everything that happened tonight. Before we get into everything, please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video. Visit the link in the description for the merch store. As always, I'm wearing something from the merch store. It is our navy blue Walter Football t-shirt, and you can get that as well as other stuff here. The merch store, we have our 20% off sale. You can get any of these. You can change the colors if you want. We have our apron, we have our mug, a couple mugs here, so you can get that. You can go to Amazon, buy my books. The most recent one is Jerks to the College Years, where I made fun of people I saw at Penn State for 6 years. It was a lot of fun to write. I think you guys have a lot of fun reading it. Also, please consider super chats, super stickers. It's the best way to support the show. We've had some great super chats recently. John Sanders, Degenon, Slew, primarily this week, and then before that we had Can't Make an Eagle, Armac, Karmic, the Boss, and many others. So thank you guys so much for your support. Just really appreciate it. Mike says, "Hi Walt, how's it going?" Mike had a fun night tonight, except for the Jaguars related stuff that kind of ruined. Well, not kind of, but definitely ruined our draft props. We did hit some draft props though with Shedeur Sanders, like all the Shedeur Sanders related stuff we hit. Sorry, Clarence Hill. I'm sure he'll call me racist for saying that, but yeah. So you need them. How many units he lose tonight? I didn't count. I don't know. We did hit some stuff though with Shedeur Sanders. Like two of our 3 biggest props hit between under 2.5 quarterbacks and then Shedeur Sanders over 21.5. We lost the Membu one, which really hurt because the stupid Jaguars didn't stay put and they didn't take Gentry at 5. I thought when the Browns traded down they would take Gentry and we'd be all clear. But Charlie did say that he said that the Raiders would take Gentry if you were there, and actually. I posted that earlier today, that we would hedge with Gentry at 6, but only a little bit though. I didn't hedge enough, but still we made a little bit back. So I don't know how much we lost. We definitely lost, but not like as much as I thought we would earlier in the night. I suggested that Sanders prop 2 days ago. Yeah, congrats on that. That's that was definitely a great call. Like Sanders fell predictably so out of the first round. Thanks for the Mike Green input. I killed over 17.5 prop at plus money. Congrats on that. That's awesome. Fantasy first down. Hey, how's it going? It says thanks for all your hard work as always. You guys do an amazing job. The Jaguars, on the other hand, I will never forgive them. Thanks, Ben. So we'll get into that. It was you're right, Ben. I won't forget. I won't forgive them either. It was so brutal, but. I hope you enjoyed the draft tonight. It was a very bizarre draft. Maybe one of the weirdest drafts we've seen. Teams were dying to trade down and they couldn't trade down for a while, and we had no trades except for that one weird trade at the beginning, which could have been made days ago. There's no reason to wait for it, and it didn't. I don't know. We'll talk about it. Mike Matthias is not surprised. Charlie has bad intel. I mean, Charlie's the most accurate draft analyst over the past decade. He has great intel. What ruined it was the Jaguars trade, because he even said the Jaguars are taking Gentry. Membu's not there, but they're going to take Membu if he is there. If Gentry's not there, so that did well. But I got crushed from the intel. Yeah, I mean we definitely lost some draft props, unfortunately. But hopefully you guys bet the Sanders ones. Mike says, how do the Ravens, Eagles, and Chiefs get players like Starks, Campbell, and Simmons at the end of round 1? Many teams picking sooner should be ashamed of themselves. Yeah, I said it on the show. I'm like, what's going to happen? The Ravens and I didn't say the Chiefs, but the Ravens and the Eagles, they're going to land players who fall to them, and we're going to be like, how did this happen? How they always get these great players? And it's because teams before them draft very stupidly. So that always happens. So. Sue says I was able to get plus 650 on that Gentry prop, helped save the night. Yeah, I hope you guys hedged. Like I said, I hedged a little bit, but not nearly enough. No Raiders taking bags. No, they were going to take Membo. Ryan says I went 6-0 on player props over unders that were based on Charlie's mocks. Yeah, I should have bet more on those. I only bet Sanders. I didn't see Mike Green, unfortunately. I would have bet that as well had I seen it. I don't think it was on FanDuel. And I'm pretty limited in what I can do because I live in stupid Pennsylvania and I have to drive to New Jersey just and like DraftKings wouldn't work for me because it couldn't locate me, and then I couldn't sign into BetRivers or Caesars. I could only use FanDuel and BetMGM, and then like I went over today instead of last night, and like BetMGM said I had $0 in my account, which was not true. And I was like actually like kind of scared. I was like, where did my money go? And I came back here and it said I had my money. So I don't know why it said I had no money when I was in New Jersey. It's just I don't know. It's just a headache. Anyway, so Ben says, do we know what happened to McMillan to the Panthers? That was such a weird late swing. Yeah, that was so strange. I don't know. I'd love to hear from Charlie. I mean, Charlie will be on next week at some point. That was bizarre because like not just Charlie, but like another Panther source also thought it was going to be Jalen Walker. So I don't really understand what happened. Earthyman says, love Charlie. Intel was wrong this year. Jalen Walker and Membu. No, Membu Intel was correct. Jalen Walker was wrong. I'd love to know what happened there. But like I said, there were multiple Panther sources saying Walker. I don't know. Maybe something happened today or the past 2 days that changed it, but that's very strange. Pollyanna says, hopefully that you only got plus 200 or lower odds for the exact picture positions of the first player. Realized that they were bad values compared to position players or over on their draft positions. Yeah. So, I mean, well, I really got hurt by not being in just being a PA, not being able to bet like Will Campbell, for example, when it was like plus 400. So, Ryan, you won 6 units. If you're responsible, smart, better. The draft is usually a gold mine. I'm trying to crush. Then Carol leaked the pick. It was Banks. No, it was Membu. MGM had separate balances for each state. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Why did they do that? It's so stupid. Just give us just let us bet anywhere. Seriously. Pioneer says really weird how McMillan odds at 8 shot up to plus 100 less than an hour for the draft. I wonder if it was leaked somehow. Yeah, I guess it could have been, huh? Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's I guess that was leaked. But I didn't look at the odds because I was stuck here in PA. I couldn't bet them. So as to see the Bucs are going to a 4-receiver set. What's that about? Yeah, look, I mean, maybe they're copying the greatest show on turf with the Rams. They used to play 4 receivers all the time, right? So maybe that's what they're going to try to do with Baker Mayfield. And instead of Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce and Oz Hakeem and Ricky Prohl, they're going to have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Jalen McMillan and Emeka Egbuka. So I guess that's their plan, and with Marshall Faulk, they have Bucky Irving. So like you said, Shador going to the Browns at 33, or the Browns going to wait until next year and use their 2 first-round picks in 2026 as traded for Arch Manning. Well, I'll say this, if Arch Manning doesn't have to come out next year. And so if the Browns are planning to trade up, I feel like Arch Manning's going to be like, nah, we'll come out. Why would you want to go to the Browns? So I feel like it's cool that Arch Manning can kind of dictate when he comes out. So I feel like if it's the Giants or one of his uncle's former teams or his dad's former team, it's the Saints where Archie played, or the Giants where Eli played, or the Colts where Peyton played, I feel like he would come out. Or if it was a good organization that just had really bad luck with injuries and needed a quarterback, I could see that too. But if it's the Browns, I'm going back to Texas. What are the Cowboys doing? Even I don't know. We'll talk about that. John says, guys, Browns are fine a quarterback. Watson said he's going to come back better than ever. Yeah, I know. I mean, look, maybe it could happen. Probably not, but it could. Mike says moronic Browns ripped off the moronic Jaguars on the deal. Both teams were so moronic. I mean, look, how crazy is it that we had Draft Day, a movie that had this absurd trade with the Browns GM bullying the Jaguars young GM, and it happened in real life. What? This has to be simulation, right? Pollyanna says Godwin might be washed up after the injury. Well, if he is true, why'd they resign him then? If he's washed up, there's no reason to bring him back. Evans might only have a year or 2 left, maybe. But Jalen McMillan is there too. If you think Godwin's washed up, don't resign him. Go let him leave. And then even if you don't get Egbuka, you still have Evans and McMillan who are a good 1-2 punch. And then okay, fine, you add Egbuka. But why would you resign Godwin? It just doesn't make any sense. And plus, it's not he was a great value. It's not like McMillan fell to them at 19. I could understand that then, but like Igbokwe wasn't even a value at 19. Browns have a Super Bowl winning quarterback on the roster already. Yeah, you're right. That's accurate. Yeah, I hope Boston has a happy ending to his career. It's going. Never seen Charlie's pick so bad though. Thanks, Jags. Yeah, that kind of ruined everything. There's like a cascade of failure after that. It's just so bad. So yeah, James Gladstone is Suka Blatt. Yes, that's accurate. Very accurate. I know I'm too into the draft when you get pissed off that make a wish your kid announces the pick because it takes longer. I feel the same way. Simmons can't say he's A plus. Yeah, look, there's definitely downside to it. Like he may never recover from that injury. Like that torn patella tendons have ended a lot of careers. Hopefully not. Like I would love to see him succeed, and he could. And if he succeeds, like he's gonna be great because he's a very talented player. But there's definitely risk to it. That's why I wouldn't grade an A plus. But you could definitely argue that it's definitely up there. AI says Starks the best safety in the draft over Ibn Wari, in your opinion? I'm stoked about the pickup from my Ravens. Yeah, I mean, like it's 1 and 1A. Like I mocked one over the other all the time. Like I didn't know where to put either. So yeah, I mean, look, Starks was just an amazing value at 27. He could have gone 13. Like the Dolphins were into him for sure. But yeah, that's. Yeah, that was a great value. Mike says, I didn't think about draft day. Great analogy. Yeah. Shad Khan had to be in on that one, though. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Sure. I mean, when you hire like a 34-year-old GM, I would assume so. Or at least his son was involved somehow. But yeah, I mean, it was unreal. Like, this has to be simulation. With the Chiefs' luck, he'll be the next Trent Williams. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know what you mean, John. Pauline says Charlie did have some late picks, which he did not do in previous years. Yeah, we did well in the late picks. I had 9 picks correctly. Look, for a while, I was going to be stuck at 4. I was stuck at 4 forever until the Cardinals. Then I ended up with 9, so it was not bad. Chris says only silver lining with Deion Sanders Jr. falling out of the first round. I hope Milroe is the next quarterback drafted. That would be hilarious if it's Milroe at 33 and not Sanders. It could be, Sanders is not highly thought of, so I thought those over. The over 21.5 was super easy. I didn't see Butters in that massive crowd. Well, I actually got intel. Butters told me today. I was like, have fun at the draft, and he's like, well, plans changed. I couldn't make it. It's like I think some work stuff, so he couldn't make it. But I know his father-in-law was there because he texted me a picture. But yeah, he unfortunately couldn't make it. Yeah, Starks is a beast. Yeah, he definitely is. All right, let's get into these draft grades because I have to do some stuff after this. Cam Ward to the Titans. A. Like we talked about this for a while. They had to take a quarterback. Like, how can you not grade this as an A? I heard some people argue this could be Travis Hunter, but like, like they're not going to win any games in the future with Travis Hunter if they know quarterback. Whereas like they can win with Cam Ward if they don't have Travis Hunter. Just makes so much sense. So yeah, I feel like we don't need to delve into this. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. So let's talk about some other picks. The Jaguars trade up for Travis Hunter. So like they gave up a first-round pick for next year to move up 3 spots. That seems crazy to me. Like, if you're talking like prospect evaluations from like comparing like player to player, like I mean, Travis Hunter is the best player in this draft. But I don't think it's like a wide chasm from like Travis Hunter to Ashton Genty or Travis Hunter to Armand Membu or even Calvin Banks. Like there's not that much of a gap. Like it's not insane. And so to give up a first round pick next year for this, where like, and it's a player who we've never seen before, which could be a great thing if he can play both positions at an elite level, which maybe could happen. And then I guess you can make the argument that like, okay, they trade next year's first round pick, but they actually get 2 players because Hunter can play both positions. But like the NFL is a different beast. Like playing in the declining Big 12, where like you're playing against like Central Florida, like it's so much different than playing in the NFL week to week, where these cornerbacks have to like study opposing receivers. So like I don't know how Hunter's going to prepare for at both positions. Like I think it's going to be difficult. Now I assume he's going to play both positions, but like full time at both, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen. Like I said, it could happen. If anyone could do it, I guess it's him. But yeah, I just don't know. And so like just to give up a first round pick to move 3 spots just seems kind of ridiculous. I don't like this pick. I don't hate it enough to like give it a million. I give it a C minus. But yeah, I don't like what the Jaguars did. Just pretty. I think like pretty underwhelming for them. If I were them, I would have stayed at 5 and drafted an offensive lineman to protect Lawrence because he always gets hurt. So John says Atlanta gave it way too much for that tiny edge guy they just picked. Yeah, you could argue that, but then again, they liked him enough to take him at 15, and so they saw him fall to the 20s, and they know they can win now because the division sucks. So like I get it, like at least get it. That's my first thought too, that they gave up too much. And then I thought about it, I'm like, it makes sense. I think Shedeur Sanders minus 150 at 33, Monroe 6-1. Well, let's try to see if we can find anything. I don't know. I would lean Shedeur for sure, but I mean that's not a good price. Chris says, has any player ever damaged draft stock as much as with their attitude? I mean, Jimmy Clausen comes to mind, right? I mean, Mel Kiper had him 4th on his big board, and he fell to the 2nd round, and it was like the same thing. It was like self-entitlement. Like people were turned off by his attitude. So yeah, I mean that's like the one player I can compare him to. Lefty says if his last name wasn't Sanders, he wouldn't be drafted. I think he'd be drafted. I mean, I know you're just being you're just kind of just exaggerating a bit, but I do like I think if his last name wasn't Sanders, we wouldn't be talking about him as much. Let's see, Shuck 11-1 at 33. That's interesting. There's a team that likes Shuck. I can't remember who it is. I don't know if it's the Browns. I don't know if we have anything on the Browns. Archie Manning moved 2026. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's going to come out. Several teams will have 2 number ones next year. Yeah, that's unlike this year, right? Mason Taylor, second favorite at 33, plus 550. That's weird. I mean, tight end's not even a need for them. That's bizarre. Like I would think like one of the running backs would be up there too. Lava says Atlanta had the best draft, 2 top 10 talents. You had pick 15. Yeah, you could argue that if you like Pierce. I mean, look, I said this on the draft blog, and like I got this text from Charlie. The Falcons were at 15 debating James Pierce, Mykel Williams, and Shamar Stewart. And they said that Mykel Williams was the safest. James Pierce has had the best tape, and Shamar Stewart had the most upside. So it's like kind of like, which one do you pick? And then like Jalen Walker fell to them, and they're like, okay, we'll just take Jalen Walker. But then Pierce fell to them in the 20s, and well, not fell to them, but they traded up in the 20s, and they were able to get him, like the guy with the best tape at defensive end outside of Jalen Walker. So you have to like it, right? Come on, guys. Sanders is a 2nd round prospect. Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, obviously, he fell to the 2nd round, so you can definitely say that now. I thought he'd be higher. I like him more, I guess, than the consensus. I feel like the attitude thing was definitely something that hurt him, but I kind of do wonder what Clarence Hill is saying now because he's like, as soon as someone criticizes his attitude, he's like racist, like it's like all he thinks. He's like, it's kind of like like a cartoon animal or something like that only says one thing. Like what is that? I forget what movie. It's like what one kid's movie is like the Seagulls or like mine. I forget what movie that is, but he reminds me of Clarence Hill. He's like racist. Like anything you see is like racist. Sanders dirtbag. Pioneer says, "Was McMillan the most unexpected pick this year?" No, it has to be up there. I think the most unexpected pick was Igbokwe to the Buccaneers. That was out of left field. I had when I saw that, I was like, huh? Like, I was like, what? Like I said that out loud. Like usually I'm just typing here, just like in here in my basement, just like typing away in my office. And like when I said that, I was like, huh? Like what? Like I was like, that has to be wrong. Great for Barron with the Broncos. A grade, yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely get to it. Sanders 0 pocket presence. Yeah, he takes a lot of sacks, kind of like Caleb Williams. So he's like, it's like Caleb Williams without the upside, right? But I mean, he has a higher floor, I think, because like he's a smart quarterback. He's accurate. He can move around a little bit. He's not like extremely mobile. He can move around. Just as Mel Kiper was going to bomb Green Bay, he was so pissed off that Sanders kept falling. Really, I watched NFL Network. I wasn't watching ESPN. I would love to hear that. No, McMillan wasn't like that was, I mean, that was out of left field too. Tyreek Williams in the first round was the most unexpected. Didn't hear his name once. Yeah, that was. I said this before the draft. I was like, you're going to hear a name in the 20s. You're going to be like, what the heck just happened? And that was the pick. That was pretty nuts. Loveland before Warren had to be, yeah, exactly. So yeah, we'll get into more here. Abdul Carter, A minus for the Lions. Like the only bad thing you could say about this pick, it doesn't fill a need, but Kayvon Thibodeaux his contract is expiring soon, so they could trade him. And you could argue he's the best player available. I love the Will Campbell pick. Actually, I had a good laugh this morning. I found my first ever 2025 NFL mock draft, which I posted on the site. And there were some like weird picks. I'm like, I don't even remember this player. I can't remember, like Trey Zune or something like that was in the first round. Like just weird people. But I had Will Campbell to the Patriots at number 4. It's like, that's so weird because that's exactly what happened, and it was my final mock. I love this pick. I mean, the short arms are the only concern, but he can play guard too. But like his athleticism is off the charts. The only guys who tested better athletically in the combine history were Trent Williams and Tristan Wirfs. So maybe the short arms hurt him, but like there have been guys with short arms who have succeeded before, so I don't have an issue with this. The Browns take Mason Graham. I was disappointed from my mock draft purposes and also betting that they didn't take Ashton Jeanty, and I thought they might because they don't have a running back. But I think it's a smart pick because you can get a running back in the second round. I mean, look who's available. You have Travion Henderson, Quinshon Judkins, Caleb Johnson. There's so many good running backs. Cam Scatterbo, third round, possibly. There's so many other good ones. Like, you don't need to take a running back here, even though Genty's the better one. Mason Graham is, I thought, like, arguably best player available. But yeah, I'd have him below Jeanty. But given that he's a running back, I don't think that you needed to take him. Armand Membu, you could argue, is better. And the Browns didn't need a left tackle, so maybe if they took Membu, I'd bump it up to A+. But I love that the Browns traded down and got a really good player at a position of need. Jeanty to the Raiders, like this is, I think this is a silly pick. Like I think this is really this pick just has nepotism all over it because Pete Carroll's son is the running game coordinator for the Raiders, and so Pete Carroll just wants his son to succeed. So like that's I feel like that's the only reason this pick was made. Well, maybe not the only reason. Like Jeanty's a really great prospect, but he's not Christian McCaffrey, he's not Saquon Barkley. And so like to take a player like that in the top 6, especially when like there are running backs in the second round you could take, especially like ones that Chip Kelly coached, like Henderson and Judkins, like you could get one of them and they fit right into the offense. Like that what makes more sense to me rather than taking like a non-elite running back at 6. I don't like it. Watching T-Mac, he doesn't have to change the direction. Yeah, he also has like some work ethic issues, so that's a concern too. Ben says ESPN's graphics had Sanders as 21% chance to make it to Pittsburgh, and 3% to make the second. Hilarious. Yeah, I guess they weren't really following the draft news, and that gave us great leverage on these Sanders bets. Like I couldn't believe like some of the odds on Sanders. Like his over, I think his over at 21.5 was only minus 108. I'm like, this should definitely be like minus 200 or something, or even worse. Ben says, "Holy F, was that disappointing as a Texans fan?" Well, I mean, you picked up some picks, so I get your disappointment. But think about it this way: like most of the offensive linemen were off the board, so you didn't get the blocker you wanted. X says, "Congrats to getting the Packs pick for right once." We did get Christian Gonzalez right, but yeah, I hear you. They're tough to predict. Euler says, "I was furious that Tennessee and Cam Ward have to have half of their glory taken from Mel Kiper waxing Exotica over Shador and his mediocre 4th-round talent." I hope that there's some Mel Kiper clips on YouTube. I want to listen to them now because like I said, I watch NFL Network, not ESPN. All right, let's get a move on here. The Jets get Armand Membu. I really wonder if they would have taken Tyler Warren at 7 had Membu gone 6. Apparently Membu won them through a Zoom call or the past couple of days. It's kind of weird, but it's also weird is that they drafted a tackle last year and they take another one this year. It's like they're not the only team that did that. So like in 3 or 4 years, which I wrote here, they're gonna have to re-sign both of them, and that might be a difficult task. So like it's gonna be a dilemma in 3 or 4 years, but at least like when they get their quarterback they want, whether it's second round this year or who knows, maybe next year, that they at least have two talented tackles to protect that quarterback. So and Membu, exactly like Campbell, had the same athletic testing as like Trent Williams and Tristan Wirfs, and the only difference was that he had longer arms than Campbell. Campbell had the better tape, but Membu's athleticism and wingspan together, just off the charts. There's only been two other guys who've done that. So I think he has insane potential, and no, I'm not surprised he went 7 overall. And we get to Tetairoa McMillan at number 8. This is weird because the Panthers had the worst defense in the NFL last year, and a great way to turn that around is to take the best defensive player at 8. Whether it's Jalen Walker, Mason Graham's gone, but if they like Jahdae Barron enough, they could have taken him, or one of the safeties, even though obviously they could have traded down for them, or Michael Williams even, or Kenneth Grant. But no, they take offense. They go with a receiver who's not an elite receiver. If you were in last year's draft, he would have definitely been behind Odunze, and I think he would have been behind Brian Thomas Jr. Not factoring the 2024 production with the Jaguars. I'm just saying heading into the draft. I think he would have been behind Brian Thomas Jr. I think Charlie had that as well. So a non-elite receiver at 8 when you really need defense, and a guy who doesn't have a great work ethic just seems like just a bad move by Carolina. And I kind of wonder if this is David Tepper meddling again, like he did with Bryce Young over CJ Stroud, because that could be the reason why the Panthers had that late change. If everyone was if the front office was we love Walker, and the Tepper comes in no, I want McMillan, kind of like he did with Young, where everyone else wanted Stroud. That could be it. I don't know if that's the case, but it would be an explanation for how this is or why this is made. Kelvin Bank to the Saints. I'm kicking myself because today I was considering changing this pick to Banks, but then I would have gotten the Cardinals wrong because I would have put Nolan to the Niners. So I guess it ended up working out. But yeah, I like this. This is an A grade for me. The Saints really needed tackle help. Ryan Ramczyk retired. It's a shame what happened to him with the injury. They have Talise Fuaga from last year, but he's more of a right tackle. Banks is going to be left tackle, so they at least have their tackle situation set up. Spencer Rattler is, with Jackson Dart off the board, it sounds like he's going to be the starter next year. And he has high upside, even though he had some rough moments this year. But he wasn't protected well, and he didn't have good receivers. So he's going to have Olave and Shaheed back from injury, and now he's going to have Banks and Fuaga protecting him. So he's going to have a chance to prove himself. So yeah, I like this pick. I did not like the Colston Loveland to the Bears pick. With Tyler Warren available, it's very questionable. I mean, Loveland was, I think, definitely the number 2 tight end prospect. Compared to Warren, who's number 1. It's not even a position of need. And I know you can go to 2 tight end sets. They lost Keenan Allen. They could use one of the tight ends in the slot, but really, feels like you have to go defensive line probably, or if you're going to go tight end, at least go Warren. Go with the better tight end. So yeah, I didn't like this. It felt like they almost thought that Ashton Zenzi could fall to them, or maybe they could trade up for him, and they got screwed out of that, and they kind of panicked. I don't quite get this. I don't know why they did that. Niners getting Michael Williams is a B-. I think it's a fine pick, but you had Jalen Walker and Tyler Warren available. I feel like you have to take one of them. They lost so many players in free agency. They just had to take the best player available at a position in need, and Walker definitely feels a need. Warren not so much, but George Kittle is getting up there in age, and if the Bears draft a second tight end, the Niners can too. And they lost some receivers this year. Samuel's gone. Ayuk's coming off injury. He's probably not going to be available for most of 2025. So yeah, getting another weapon for Purdy would make sense. But I do like Michael Williams, but again, Jalen Walker's there, so I'm not super thrilled about this. But then again, I don't hate it either. I think B- kind of makes sense. Dallas gets a Millen, which is an F for those of you not familiar. This is crazy. So I thought it was funny. So Tyler Warren falls to Dallas. They have Jake Ferguson. He's just okay. Warren would have been a big upgrade, for a team that has no weapons. So they take Booker, and I think this is so funny that we had info on the Colts saying back from February they loved Tyler Booker. But then a couple weeks ago, or maybe just 1 week ago, Charlie Campbell reported that even though the Colts love Tyler Booker, they were going to pass on him because they thought that the tight ends were more important to take, and they were a better positional value, especially given that you can get guards in the second round. So like it's hilarious that the Colts did the opposite of the Cowboys. Like the Cowboys got Warren in their laps, and they took Tyler Booker instead. And like Booker's testing at the combine was so bad. Like he the opposite would be like players like off the charts. Like he didn't even make the chart. Like his agility scores were so bad. Like forget 40. I don't care about the 40. Like his agility testing, which is like so important for offensive line projection. Like they were some of the worst scores of all linemen in this draft. Like I don't know. Like he has high character, which like why teams liked him, but he was projected to go in the 20s. Like two teams in the 20s thought they had a chance at him. Like he goes 12. Like this is like Al Davis type stuff that we're seeing from Jerry Jones. I mean like late Al Davis, late in his life stuff from Jerry Jones. It was I don't understand what's happening there. James says I think the Loveland grade is harsh. He's a better compliment to Kmet than Warren would be. Yeah, but a 10, like that just seems so early for Loveland. Like a couple weeks ago, we thought he was going 22 to the Chargers. Lots of good defense picks. Yeah, it's good. Somewhat decent, good defense draft. Rattler has a future tackle. Let's go. Yeah, Silver Snake. Let's go. Teams that had to pick off his line that must have sucked. Well, never a bad thing to address the blocking. How Loveland went before Warren. Yeah, that was strange. Middle grade, any guard in the first round grade. Yeah, I don't mind guards in the first round, but like guys with horrible agility who are reaches, just doesn't seem like a good thing. Jerry Seenow, it's a great question. I like honestly, like this might be a joke maybe, but like I think it's actually, I think like there's a good chance he is. It's kind of like Al Davis was in his final year. It's kind of sad. Jerry Jones said he had two big trades in the making. Yeah, sure, Jerry, sure. Moshe says Booker is Chance Warmack or Cyrus Torrance, solid guys who went way too high. Yeah, completely agree. I mean, like Booker in the 20s is fine. The Booker at 12 is insane, especially with Jalen Walker and Tyler Warren there. Like what are you doing, Dallas? Come on. Kenneth Grant goes to the Dolphins. I actually had this a couple days ago, and I changed out, of course. But no surprise that Stephen Ross gets his Michigan guy, which like, if you take a guy based on your college, it's kind of weird. I don't know why that means so much to Stephen Ross. Like, I'm a Penn State alumnus. I don't pray for Penn State guys to go early. I don't care. No, I mean, if you look at Miami's defensive line, it's Zach Seiler and no one. Like their defensive line is like depressing. Like so they really needed Grant. They need even more on the defensive line. They need at least two more defensive linemen. It's a good start, but I think Miami might be one of the worst teams in the NFL this year. I'm definitely going to pound their under win total. So B plus is fine, or maybe a B. You could argue. I think it's a solid pick, but not great. Great picks here. Colts getting Tyler Warren fell into their lap. They were going to take Loveland at 14 if Warren wasn't there, and Loveland made it to them. So like this is a great pick for them. It's going to be a great weapon for one of the quarterbacks, and then Jalen Walker to the Falcons. We thought he was going to go 8. There was some chatter he was going to go 7 to the Jets, and like all that would have been acceptable. I don't know why he fell. I would love to hear that from Charlie. Maybe after the draft, team sources are way more forthcoming. So like Charlie always gets the info on like why these players fell in the draft. So I'd love to hear like why Walker fell. It wasn't like a huge tumble, like 7 or 8 picks, but still like it's still bizarre to see him in the teens. And the Falcons did well to get him, so it was a good move by them. Cardinals getting Walter Nolan. We added this in our mock draft. So, I mean, Mike Drecke was all over this. Like, he called this still the best team reporter in the business. Walter Nolan, people thought he was going to go as high as 8 to the Panthers, or it seemed like every mock draft at the end had him going to 11 to the Niners. So I think this is good value. He has great upside. It's like he has insane talent. He just hasn't put it together. For whatever reason, but like if he's coached well, and which you would think with Jonathan Gannon there, maybe Gannon could get the most out of him and like turn Nolan into a superstar. I could see that happening. So I love this upside, and like Arizona's defensive line has been so weak ever since they lost J.J. Watt. Like, they needed this. Let's see. Mike says, do you think Jerry Jones should bring in Joe Shane's son in for an interview to be an assistant? Well, he needs to do something. He can't. He has to stop making these picks. He's clearly out of touch and doesn't know what's going on. Warren equals Bowers. I love Bowers more. I was I'm really surprised the Jets didn't take Warren after they missed on Bowers. They did the same thing. They took a tackle over a tight end. But like this one, you can understand. Like I get Membo over Warren. I would have done the same thing. But like last year, taking Fashanu over Bowers was insanely stupid. Joe Douglas, it sounded like he was going to do it. He was going to take Bowers, and then like at the last minute, he got scared because he didn't want to take a tight end in the first round because of Kyle Pitts. It's like, okay, yeah, that's why you got fired, dude. Like, this is so stupid. So like that decision like is gonna hurt them, I think, because now like imagine if they took Bowers, like they would have taken Membu here and had their left tackle or whatever. I know Membu played right tackle in college; he can play left tackle with that athleticism. Like that's gonna hurt them in the long term because like they're not gonna have any weapons outside of Garrett Wilson. They still don't. Drafts with no quarterbacks in the first round. 74, 84, 85, 88, and 96. Yeah, we almost had one a few years ago with 2022 with Kenny Pickett. He went in the 20s, so that almost happened. Owen says, "Hey Walt, I don't know if you noticed, but you're on your free agent signing grades. You have Kirby Joseph extension listed as 68 million instead of 86 million. Okay, okay. Thanks for the heads up. I did not notice that, so I appreciate it. Okay, let's get to the back end of the opening round. These grades here. So the Bengals with Shamar Stewart, I think a D grade. Man, this is. I feel like if you're a Bengals fan, you're in two categories. One, you're just a homer who just like roots for everything and is going to cheer on this pick. Or two, you realize like, wait a second, we made this pick a couple of years ago with Myles Murphy. And it didn't pan out. Like Myles Murphy was a super athletic defensive end with no production, and the Bengals took him and he busted. And like now they get Shamar Stewart, a super high upside defensive end with no production. I don't know. I don't know how you could be so stupid. Like you have Derek Harmon there, you have Josh Connerly, you have Gray Zabel, you have so many good options, and you blow it, Shamar Stewart. Just so dumb. I think I gave it a D instead of an F just because like he has amazing upside and maybe they turn him into something good, but like I think he's going to be a bust here. Like 4.5 sacks in college, like fun. Anyway, 18 Seahawks, Gray Zabel. We had this in our mock, so I was happy to see it and give it an A. I mean, the Seahawks were trying to trade down, and like it's a good thing they weren't able to because they finally added some needed protection. If they traded down, they probably weren't going to get Gray Zabel. So like, why would they trade down? I don't get it. So yeah, they got a guy who could play every position on the offensive line, and they haven't needed every position except for left tackle. So yeah, it's a really good move by Seattle here to get Zabel. And here we go, another Millen grade, Emeka Egbuka to the Buccaneers. We talked about this already. This is they drafted their fourth receiver at 19, like, and it wasn't a great value. It's not like McMillan fell to 19. You'd be like, okay, I get the value. Or like, last year if they had 19 and like, let's say a Roma Dunze fell to them. Yeah, okay, you understand it. But like Emeka Egbuka, I like Egbuka. I think he's going to be a good player. But like you take your fourth receiver. Like if you thought Godwin is too old or too injured, don't resign him. So like you can either criticize this pick or criticize what they did with Godwin. Like either way, they get an F for one of those two things. It's kind of like the Eagles with Jalen Hurts. Remember, they took him, and like we're all like, "Oh, this is a terrible pick," because they just re-signed Carson Wentz. Well, it ended up being a good pick, but it was still an F for the Eagles with Carson Wentz. So like, it's one or the other. Like either way, the Buccaneers screwed up. Like either with Godwin or with Egbuka here. And it could be that Egbuka turns out to be a real good player, and then we just say, "Oh, re-signing Godwin was extremely stupid." So either way, they get an F for something. What it is exactly, we will find out in the future. So, okay. So John says, Will Johnson has a degenerative knee condition, I guess. Yeah, I had him falling out of the first round. I think Charlie did too. I'm not sure, but we were definitely discussing it. Yeah, like once we found out about that, like the Raiders were super high on him a few weeks ago. And then they flagged him for the knee, and yeah, it's unfortunate. I hope he recovers, but Yeah, it doesn't look good for him. Um, TBEME is the one who could get you wrong. He will be the steal of the draft. Okay, well, look, that's my point. Like, okay, Igbokwe could be good, but then what they did with Godwin was extremely dumb. So, like, what it's one or the other. Either way, Tampa screwed up. Whether they did free agency or the draft, we don't know yet. The same thing with the Falcons last year when it took Penix. Like, we gave that a million, and Penix looked good at the end of the year, but it just meant the Falcons screwed up with Cousins. So, you don't get rewarded because you made a dumb move. So yeah, something has to be given an F there. Joe McMillan had a nice rookie year. Exactly. Yeah, McMillan looked good. It'd be one thing if he looked terrible. He did have a rough start, but he at the end of the year he looked great. Yeah, I don't know, especially with that how bad that defense is. Like, and it's not like there were no good defensive players. Like, you had the two. I know they didn't need a safety, but like those two great safeties fell to them. All the corners fell to them. Like Jahdae Barron would have been a great pick there. They could have taken Jihad Campbell. They could have taken James Pierce. They're like so many great options for them at defense. Like if there was a huge run on defense, like the opposite of last year, and then like they're like, oh crap, we don't have any good defense players. Let's just take the best guy on our board. It's gonna be Igbokwe. I could have get that, but like their defense is gonna be awful again next year. Like so, I don't know. Like what's Igbokwe gonna do for them next year? He's barely gonna play unless like there are injuries, of course. So yeah, just it doesn't help them win this year. Maybe it's probably good for the future, but like Tampa is in a position where they can win the division now because the division is so bad. And like once you get into the playoffs, like you never know what's going to happen. Like they almost beat the Redskins in the first round. The Redskins went to the NFC Championship. Like teams have gotten in before, like the Giants in 07, and like they made a run to the Super Bowl. Like like if you're in a position like Tampa, you have to take a player who help you win now, and they didn't. So I think they screwed up. John says it was funny because Mel's top available had Sanders first and Will Johnson second from the 8th pick on. Oh man, that's pretty rough for Mel. Hope he's okay. I appreciate everything Mel's done for the draft. I wouldn't be talking to you guys here if it wasn't for Mel Kiper. But yeah, that's definitely two swings and misses there for him. I did recall I told you Penix is gonna be a good pick. Well, look again, like. It ended up being a good pick, but it was a horrible decision to give Kirk Cousins his contract then. So my point is, like, either way, the team screwed up. Now, like, you could say, okay, they saw Cousins in practice. They're like, oh crap, this guy sucks. Like, yeah, we got a lemon here. Let's make up for our error. And so if that were the case, then sure, it was a good pick. But they deserve an F for Cousins. So either way, they get a failure in one way or another. All right, so. Jahdae Barron. Speaking of Jahdae Barron, A+ for the Broncos. The number one pure corner in this draft goes 20. Like how when does that happen? Like when is the number one corner in a draft? Outside of Hunter, of course. When does he go like number 20? Usually the top corner goes in the top 10. So Barron's a really good player. He could play outside corner. He could play in the slot. He could play safety even. He's played some linebacker too. Like this guy play all over the place. And we saw it in that Monday Night Shootout when Jameis Winston torched the Broncos. If they had like one injury at corner last year, they were done. Like they couldn't stop the pass at all. So it makes sense to get a corner. I gave him an A+. Steelers take Derek Harmon, an A grade. The only reason this isn't an A+ because he has some injury question marks, but the Steelers cleared him. And every team has their own medical, evaluations. So and the Steelers have taken injured players before. Like George Pickens had some major injury red flags, and the Steelers took him in the second round and ended up working out. So yeah, I mean Harmon has questions, but he's super athletic, tons of upside, and he could replace Cameron Hayward. And this is an A because they didn't take Shedeur Sanders. Like I thought that would have been a mistake. And by the way, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to sign like very soon. I assume he was waiting to see if the Steelers are going to take a quarterback, kind of like the Falcons did, screwing over Kirk Cousins. So I don't think he wanted to be in that trap. So now that that's over, I have to believe that he's going to sign, maybe as soon as next week. Amarian Hampton to the Chargers, like no surprise that Jim Harbaugh took a guy for his running game. Normally, I'd be opposed to first-round running backs, but this draft class kind of sucked. So I gave this a B. It's just okay. I mean, Hampton's a good player. I don't really know if he belonged in the first round, but this is a weak draft class, so this is basically like the second round of a normal year. So be great for them. The Packers finally took the receiver, so we can finally stop being told that they're never going to draft the receiver in the first round. They did it with Matthew Golden, super great, talented speed. Didn't have the best production, so I'm a little worried about that. So we'll see if he does pan out. But like this is something they didn't have, and they desperately needed, like some speed at receiver. Because when Christian Watson got hurt, their offense went into the gutter, and that's what happened last year too. In 20, the year before, I should say. They didn't have anything going offensively. Now they get to replace him with a better player potentially. And Watson wasn't going to play much this year anyway because of the torn ACL. So like they know they can win now. So it made sense to get Matthew Golden here. Let's see. Joey says whatever Millen grade you give is still better than Dylan's fantasy team. Oh man, I was not expecting that. That's good. That's good. I need to get you guys on the show for a draft the summer. Mike says some of the picks are mind-boggling. Booker, Dart. Yeah, we'll talk about Dart in a second. And John says he was a good pick, but they also lit 100 million on fire. Exactly. Yeah, that's 100% true. He says no. I remember I said Penix is a great pick, and I said he would be really good. Not that I was trying to tell you. Okay. Yeah. No. I like Penix too. I was just disappointed to see him go to Atlanta because I thought on another team he could play right away, like Denver, for example, or like Minnesota. But yeah, so it didn't end up working out, but they did light 100 million on fire at the same time. Mike says, Walt, when you finish round one, can you make some predictions for round two? Still several interesting players left. Yeah, well, I will be posting my round three remock, by in a few hours. But I'll do that on the show for sure. Just quickly, like I'll have to think about some more as they put it on the site. Okay, so the Vikings taking Donovan Jackson. I give this a B. I thought Jackson would go a bit later, but I kind of get it in the 20s. Like I said, this is kind of like the second round. And I'm definitely not opposed to any team bolstering their offensive line for a young quarterback. And the Vikings already had Ryan Kelly and Will Fries, and now they have Jackson. So they could have the best offensive line in the NFL. I thought that even before this pick, I thought definitely like top 3 offensive line potentially, if Ryan Kelly stays healthy. But now if Donovan Jackson pans out, and I do like him, so like they could have the best offensive line in the NFL, and that translates to wins. And I love the Vikings this year. I bet them at 40-1 to win the Super Bowl. Jackson Dart, C+. This could definitely be lower, especially now that like Shedeur Sanders fell. Like they kind of have to feel stupid now. If I were to adjust this grade, I think I'd give it a C-. I get it though. Like you need a franchise quarterback, and trading up to 25 from 34 to 25 is not like the worst. They give up two third-round picks, so not like horrible compensation. But yeah, I mean, I feel like they could have stayed put at 34 and got him. Well, maybe Cleveland takes him, so perhaps you trade up to like 32 or 31 to do it. But yeah, it seems a little silly that they does. And like Jackson Dart is not a great quarterback prospect by any means. He can be okay. I'm not like very high on him. I thought he belonged in the second round. I guess this is sort of the second round, given how bad this class is, but still, not a big fan of this. I said C+. I downgraded this to C-. Falcons getting James Pierce. So my first thought, I mentioned this before. First thought I was like, man, first round for next year, that seems insane. But like they had a very high first round grade on him, top 15. They thought he had the best tape of any edge rusher in this class outside of Jalen Walker. So to get him at 26. Just seems like a really great bargain. And if the Falcons are as good as we think they could be, then they'll be drafting in the 20s anyway. So I feel like they're only penalized for this if Penix goes down and then they suck or something, and they're drafting in the top 10 and they give up the top 10 pick. But the Falcons, unlike the Buccaneers, it seems like they understand they can win now, and they don't have to build for the future. And Pierce and Walker together will just give them a much better pass rush, which is the main weakness of their team, at least before the bye last year. After the bye, their pass rush was better, but I feel like that was a fluke. So, Yeah, no, I like this. I like this move a lot after thinking about it. Like my first inclination was like, oh, why are they doing this? But I get it. I definitely get it. So I like what Atlanta did. And then we get to the Ravens. Oh, how did they get Malachi Starks? So surprising. Like, maybe if some of the teams above them took better players, like they wouldn't have gotten Malachi Starks. Yeah, Evan and I, we argued ad nauseum about the Ravens pass defense last year. We will not be arguing about it because they have Malachi Starks now. They had such issues at safety. It was ridiculous. They had to move Kyle Hamilton from linebacker to safety to compensate for it. They did get a little bit better against the pass late in the year because they did that, but then they suffered against the run because they took Hamilton out of linebacker. So now with Starks there, I kept hearing like, oh, great tandem, Starks and Hamilton. Like, no, Hamilton's going to go back to linebacker. They're going to have Starks and safety. So that's where they wanted to play Hamilton. And like this basically gives them like 2 upgrades. So great move by the Ravens. Surprise, surprise. The Ravens got an A+. On the other end of the spectrum, the Lions with Tyreek Williams, this is a guy we had in the 50s and 60s of our mock drafts. And I'm not sure what happened at 28. Like, I know the Lions loved Tyler Booker, and Donovan Jackson was like their backup plan at guard. I was kind of surprised they didn't take JT Tuamalo. I seemed like they liked him, but yeah, this one seems bizarre. It feels a need at least, but yeah, it's a reach, definitely a reach. It's not as bad as Cole Strange, but this is it's pretty bad. I gave it a D. Redskins take Josh Connerly, an A grade. I thought he'd go earlier. I thought Cincinnati maybe. I know the Bengals just talking him up, but they stupidly took Shamar Stewart instead. Connerly can play tackle guard. He's very athletic, and like I will never downgrade a team protecting young quarterback with a talented lineman. They did get Laramie Tunsil, but Connor could play guard. As I said, he can play right tackle too. Yeah, I mean, this is a good move. I look at a lot. It's an A. Maxwell Harrison to the Bills. I'm kind of kicking myself because I feel like I had Harrison to the Bills more than any other Buffalo player throughout like all my mock drafts. And like at the end, I moved it to Revel and then or Revel. And then, like, at the end, at my final mock, I moved to Azerico, who fell out of the first round. But no, I mean, Maxwell Harrison makes so much sense. Like, he fits the system that McDermott has, fills a big need, and he's a good player. Like, he could have gone in the 20s, early 20s, and like not like no one would have complained about it. I'm like I would say I gave him an A- because I'm a little disappointed that they didn't take Azerico or maybe Mike Green, but mostly Azerico, just because I thought that if they saw what the Eagles did to the Chiefs, their arch nemesis, in the Super Bowl, like they'd be like, oh, let's get as many great pass rushers as possible. And they did sign Joey Bosa, but I thought that maybe they get another one and just get like this insane pressure on Mahomes and like just beat him that way, like just like the Eagles did. Instead, they got Harrison, which I think is a good pick, but it's not the ideal pick, I think, but still good nonetheless. All right, so Eagles got Jihad Campbell. Oh, so surprised! Eagles got a great pick. Like again, like these these great teams just get these great players because teams before them just passing them for some reason. I actually forgot Jihad Campbell was available when the Eagles moved up one spot. I'm like, oh, this is for Amanawari, right? And then like it was Campbell flashed on the TV. I'm like, oh my god, I forgot he was still available. Campbell is he's like Hassan Reddick. He could play linebacker. He could play edge rusher. The Eagles can use him all over the place, like they did with Reddick. And like I feel like even though they won the Super Bowl, I feel like they missed Reddick a little bit. So they get the newer version Hassan Reddick, and I mean this guy could have gone in the late teens. Like even the Falcons had some interest in him at 15. So this is a steal, absolute steal for the Eagles. A+ all the way. And Josh Simmons, we touched on this earlier. Like the torn patella tendon is very scary. I gave him an A- so because he has insane upside. If he were completely healthy, I think he would have been the 6th pick in this draft. So maybe 7th. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell, but either 6 or 7. I feel like at the very least 9. Yeah, I mean, it's potentially a great pick. If he overcomes the injury, like Mahomes is finally going to have some good pass protection again. So we'll see. We'll see if he can recover. They have Jalen Moore from the Niners. So even if Simmons doesn't pan out, they still have more. But like, I think it could work out. And like anyway, like why not swing for the fences? This is a bad draft. Just take the guy with upside. If you're just going to take a mediocre player, like, he's not going to make that much of a difference. We saw what happened to Mahomes in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs had to do something like this. So A-. pretty good. We had a $29 super chat from Evan. Evan, thank you so much, Evan. I really appreciate you. Glad to see you on here, and I hope I look forward to having you on the show on Tuesday as always next year. Evan says, quote, I guess I won't be arguing with Evan about the Ravens next year. NFL offseason guru. Thanks so much, Evan. That's great. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, no, we will not be arguing about the Ravens pass defense. It's funny though that like when I said that you texted me like you were thinking the same thing. So I feel like that's good. That's good mojo for our joint super conscious entry that we're gonna have next year. So yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for being on here. Thanks for the super chat. And yeah, I'm already looking forward to our Tuesday show. We have two more the days of the draft to get through, and then we basically have the summer to prepare for week one because we'll know everything outside of like where's Rodgers going to go, where's J.K. Dobbins / Amari Cooper / Nick Chubb going to go, like the veterans who have some things wrong with them and they're waiting for the draft to be over. Kirk Cousins too. So we still have some things to get through after the draft, but like mostly we're going to know how good these teams are. And we're going to be able to evaluate them, and I can't wait to handicap these games with you again. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, thanks so much, Evan. Really appreciate it. All right, so we have some more comments, and then I should head on out because I have to do the round 2-3 remocks. Okay, so Mike says, Walt, when you okay, yeah, talk about that. Joey says Atlanta's so dumb for giving me a first round to trade back into. Yeah, that was my first thought. But I actually think it makes sense given their situation and the player they got. They were going to take Pierce at 15 if Walker wasn't there. So actually, Millen grade is how I got turned on to your site. That's awesome. It's so fun. People love the Millen stuff. What is on your background shelf? On my background shelf. So we have some helmets there. There's an Aaron Rodgers signed helmet. There's a Dick Butkus signed helmet. It's a Kobe Bryant signed basketball. Michael Jordan Wheatie box. This horrifying thing is my son made this for me. It's a Halloween decoration. And here is I found this in his toy bin. It is the Brow. This is the ugliest toy figure you'll ever see. It looks like something from like a horror movie. This is a Dick Tracy toy. So it's like from the 50s. Well, like Dick Tracy's from the 50s, but this is made more recent than that. But no, I was looking through his because I used to play with Dick Tracy toys all the time, and I found this in his toy bin because it was from my toy bin. My mom brought it over from her house, and so I gave it to him. And I was sifting through it, and I found this toy. I'm like, the Brow. I'm like, this might be worth something actually. And I looked it up. This is going for like $50 on eBay. I was like, oh, that's pretty funny. So I took it and I just put it up on the thing. So yeah, I was like, wow, I found this like $50. So it's kind of beat up though, so I don't think it would fetch 50, but or maybe it's like on purpose because he's kind of a weird guy from Dick Tracy. All the characters are weird in that show or cartoon or whatever comic. But yeah, I loved Dick Tracy when I was a kid. Like even the Dick Tracy Nintendo game was awesome too. Yeah. Anyway, so Mike says, yeah, those Moon grades are unique. Yeah, they're a lot of fun. When JPJ is doing what he does best, he's worth it. If they have him doing fits, DC should be fired. Penetrated drop, both looking good for him. Yeah. So Mike says several had tried to compete, but no one could draft like Millen. And he was the best. Actually, I was on a radio show for the draft like a couple weeks ago, and one of the hosts was like, he's like, yeah, over the years, have you seen have you seen maybe one or two GMs who like drafted the best? I'm like, yeah, Matt Millen, and I was like, I'm just joking. He had a good laugh. I love him as the KC. Stars is my second pick. Yeah, no, that was a really good pick for sure. Yeah, there's some downside to it, like I said, but I love the upside. At this point, why even draft Shadori will be more of a distraction. I don't know. I mean, at some point, he should draft him, right? I mean, like he's good value at this point. Sanders minus 400 on DraftKings to go to Browns. Okay, so I feel good about my number 33 pick to the Browns. No shutout. Yeah, on this late nighter. Yeah, exactly. Thanks so much, Devin, once again. Old Mikey says Ulbrich was having Hassan Reddick drop in the covers last year, called Reddick most selfless guys he's ever coached after holding out half the season. Yeah, that's a really bad Jet situation, huh? Someone's got to clean up that mess. Yeah. Thunder outscored the Grizzlies by 35. Unfortunately, they spotted them 29. Yeah, John Morant got injured, and that's why Oklahoma City came back. I don't know what OKC was doing. Like they're playing drunk or something. So yeah, it was unfortunate. PS is why the Eagles move up one spot to 31. I don't know. They always do that. I don't know why they did it. Like maybe they're scared no other team's going to beat them to the punch. They give up a 5th-round pick. Probably meaningless in the long term. They probably don't need to do it though, but that's like their style. They always do it. You podcasting on Friday? What time? Friday's gonna be super busy. Like the draft ends late, and then I have to do round 4, round 5 regrades. I have to grade all the trades, which like we only have 3 trade grades tonight to do, so it's not gonna be too bad. But like round 2, round 3, they're like usually like 12 or 13, 14 trades. So that lasts a long time. So I won't be able to go live tomorrow. And like I said, on Saturday we're going to be doing UDFAs all night. So I'll be tied up with that. But I mean, we'll be back on Tuesday, and I assume Charlie will be on the Tuesday. If not, then like later in the week at some point. So we'll have shows all day or every normal day next week. But no show on Friday, unfortunately. But yeah, no, I mean this is a lot of fun as usual. Thank you guys for watching and commenting. Really appreciate it. Thanks especially to Evan for the $29 super chat. Thank you so much, Evan. Really appreciate it. But yeah, guys, I hope you had a great time watching the draft. It was fun, except for the whole Jaguar stuff ruining our props. But otherwise, it was fun as always. And then we hit some props at the end, which is nice way to rebound. So yeah. Thank you guys. Please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit the link in the description for the merch store. All that would be appreciated. We'll be back on Tuesday, and like I said, all the time, like every normal day next week. So looking forward to those shows, and I hope you guys have a great night and a great time watching the rest of the draft.